Hi, and welcome to the Sonic Squeeze. I'm Isaac Page, and today we're going to be looking at Field Music's new album, Commontime. Help!
No.
Help!
I don't know if I'm strangling you or hugging you.
New album! Sunderland Band! Fucking Field Music! Commontime is the new album! We listened to it. It was 54 minutes long. Not a criticism, just a fact.
57.
57, thank you very much. At the band's core are brothers David and Peter Brewis, with a revolving cast of band members. This is their 6th studio album. They are an indie rock, kind of post-punk, kind of art rock band. That's the genre right there for you. And it's kind of geeky, quite elegant. The songwriting is sophisticated. Would you agree with that statement, Gareth?
I feel like the production is from an older generation.
Oh, you're straight up reading from my notes, you prank!
I feel as though I could definitely get some kind of Talking Heads vibe
Oh, I hate you guys so much!
from the album.
They totally read my fucking notes, guys. I'm so
This
mad.
might be a weird criticism.
No! It's just word for word now. It's unfair. I put work into this. I wrote this with my hands on a keyboard and printed out. But these words came from my mind.
I liked the sound of this album.
Thank you. That's a shit critic. I like the sound of this album. The most basic criticism ever.
You see, I felt that at times it was a bit endearing.
No, that's me again. Like, what's going on here?
What's great is that you haven't even read that in a previous take.
How far have you read?
Oh, thanks for turning it over.
Gareth, seriously, what do you think of this?
I like the sound, I like the style that they had in general. I thought it was a good sound, but I didn't think that any of the songs in particular, like, really stood out to me.
What about all those great songs that stood out to me?
I liked the instrumentation. I thought they had a good amount of different things. They had some strings. There was some quite orchestral things in especially the latter parts of this album.
Yes, it's weird how the album progressed. It got, it kept me interested all the way through.
It felt like one thing. It felt like they'd really thought about how the album moves. So like when strings are introduced in a song, the next few songs would have strings, and they'd build on that idea, and it worked quite well. It flewed.
Flewed?
Flewed.
You heard it first, guys. It flewed. I think this album had a lot of charm. It was like refreshing to hear how like classically pop this was. It had like a classic band, keys, the odd bit of strings. It was like the classic kind of pop production you've heard like for the last 20, 30,
But not like
40 years.
classically pop songs. Like they had you didn't listen to it and go, oh, this is old pop. You listen to it and went, oh, it's quite nice, but it is that sort of stuff.
I mean, I was even getting like prog rock vibes towards the end.
Yeah.
John Anson vocals in particular.
Yeah, I feel like you might have read that somewhere off somebody's notes. Not naming any names,
See,
but
normally
I know what you mean though.
Normally
Legit.
James is like, well, I haven't said anything yet because we've been yapping too much. This time he hasn't said anything because he's just read Kit's shit and said
yeah,
that.
I have fuck all to say now.
Doing alright though.
So I say like the in-between bits, and then he goes, yes, here's an important remark. I'm like, that's my important remark that I was getting to.
This album was freaking awesome. I was
was
really
frickin'
surprised
awesome.
when I first listened to it. Because it was way more kind of...
Thanks for saying frickin' as well, because it's all good fun, but good clean fun is...
Good clean fun is important.
This is a family show.
Yes.
Yes.
Clearly.
Girl, scream my name when I'm pretty.
Don't you can dare continue.
Girls, on my dick
Opening
when-
track, The Noisy Days Are Over, I
Yep.
thought was awesome.
Funky.
Good starter.
Wicked percussion.
Yeah.
Wicked bass line to go on top of it. Nice vocals.
You're totally
nice
reading them.
vocal harmonies. It builds and it cuts, and the ideas of that are just flowing with some crazy actually sax solo in there as well,
Yes. Now,
and some string outro and piano.
It had
if that didn't freaking like
if that
tell you
doesn't float
everything.
your boat, if that doesn't tickle your
Float your
johnnies, If that doesn't rustle your jimmies in any way, then you're just not a right human being. One of my favourite tracks in the album was the second song, Disappointed. Just the chorus and the bass line and the rhythms over rhythms were just wonderbar.
Gareth, are you going to make the pun?
Wonderbar.
No, I was thinking of it, but I decided I wasn't gonna go with it because we all did that on John Grant's album.
We did.
Let's not do it again.
Okay.
Moving on, another track. One of my favourite songs was the third track, Son.
That was also one of my favourite
It
songs.
was really fucking good.
It was really metronomy style, I felt.
I don't know what that is,
Making
but
up
yes.
words over here. Yes, yes.
Why not?
It's a band called
I
Metronomy.
think it was really
I
really
thought they were the bad
gymnastic.
guys in Transformers. That's Megatron.
That's
Megatron.
Decepticons.
The Decepticons.
I mean, you were
The
close.
third song was, you know, deceptively evil robots.
Textured. Moody.
Transformable.
Nice. One of my favourite songs was actually the fourth track.
Oh, we
I'm
just
glad.
went on and on and on.
I'm glad.
A wicked guitar riff that goes into some really rhythmic, awesome drums with some frickin' acoustic guitar that gets thrown in there. A little bit of sad, kind of minimal, melancholic break for a few lonely seconds.
Is the fifth song someone's favourites?
Don't you want to know what's
it's not
wrong?
mine, so we're gonna have to end here with our
That wasn't one of my favourites.
thing. Okay.
It was alright. I actually really liked it, but it wasn't one of my favourites.
So this album starts off real strong.
It does.
Yes.
And I think it does take a little dip around this sort of time. It doesn't get
I
bad.
agree. There was a little lull.
And it's sort of because it's sort of the same thing, not too much
How
changed
how
up.
small of a dip are we talking?
Well, for me,
a dip from good to like average.
Are we talking like a dip into a pool? Or are we
We're
taking
talking like a dip into some nice, like you got some chili heatwave Doritos, just a nice dip into a bit of salsa, but you don't get as much salsa as you wanted. So you're just slightly like,
you
"Ah."
got
But
slightly.
then-
You're tempted to double dip.
You're still happy,
Is
but
the
you're not
double dip-
disappointed.
Is the double dip like... Is that on the cards?
The double dip is when you get to the next part of the album and it starts to become interesting and it starts to do
At
some
what
different
point in the
things.
album would you define as the double dip stage? By which I mean not necessarily the bit where it dips again, which would make sense, but indeed the bit where it starts to pick up again. Just to confuse the terminology
This is how
entirely.
This is how journalists describe our economy.
It's a double dip
it
reception.
did a double dip there, and then it really picked up again for like a little bit, and I was really enjoying it. But you know, Tesco's became shite.
Horse.
From Trouble at the Lights
You like that?
onwards.
Yes.
I thought it was at least interesting. I did
I
like
liked
it.
it.
But I thought the main thing
that was
about it
one
was
of my
interesting.
favourite tracks, Trouble
Oh.
at the Lights.
One of my favourite tracks was the track after that.
Which was also
They
one of
want
my
you to
favourite
remember
tracks.
because that was where like it had now fully branched out into like being interesting and having lots of variety, and it carried on that trend throughout the end of the album.
And Trouble at the Lights was really dark at times compared to like the rest of the album, which was very upbeat and
Yes.
nice sounding in a happy, positive vibe.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, like the beginning of the album starts out really strong. It's got that kind of like pop appeal straight away, and then
Say it again.
pop appeal,
Nice.
Pop a bit.
and then like it starts to change a bit, and you go, oh, this is different. It's not quite like the beginning, which I really fucking liked, and then it just starts to become more complex and interesting and full of depth and character and charm.
I just want to mention quickly, They Want Me to Remember has some beautiful strings on it. That was the first time where I had strings.
Yes.
It's like, yes, the strings on this are...
The string
Fantastic.
drum outro was on
And
point.
it all feels so well composed and orchestrated as well.
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of songs where they have nice sounding strings, but it's just like big, long strokes. It was
I got
really
some
interesting.
Steely Dan vibes from that. Don't know whether you've listened to Steely
I
Dan.
have listened to
You
those
took my
two.
wallet last week.
Oh, stealing,
Steely.
as in stolen.
I like how
Yeah,
long that
As in
took
to
you to get.
steal.
As in, I thought the album kind of dropped off at that point. Not a lot, but I didn't feel as though the complexity
At what
came
point
back.
do you think it's dropped off again?
Track 9 on
Track 9.
Track 9 was one of my
liked-
favourites.
That was pretty good.
I like that. I still think that was in the good stage. I was in the double dip good stage. The Morning Is Waiting For You was another
I
one
fucking
that I
loved
really
that.
liked because
Loved
it
it.
took out a lot,
Strings.
of
The Piano Reeves intro.
a lot of the percussion that was in the rest of the album that was driving a ton of, especially the early stuff. took that all out and just had this big, awesome, orchestrated, like
Yes.
almost like classically poppy.
Yeah.
And it was great.
The problem that I had with that track was that it just didn't have. I don't know. It felt as though it got this idea of what it wanted to be, and it did that, but it didn't kind of change it up a little bit. It kind of stuck with one kind of plan.
Yes, fair.
I'm gonna keep this as
I think
vague
it was different
as
enough.
possible.
It was different enough that I liked it. And then after that, track, I'm just using this for the list.
Indeed it is.
Track
Of course
11.
you are.
Track 11. Then I feel you leave the double dip stage, and you're disappointed with the amount of dip you have again. And
Do you think so?
It slows down slightly.
I
at the
thought
end.
Indeed It Is.
And it doesn't dip to the same
Yeah.
point that it dips
I
earlier,
wasn't a massive fan.
but it gets to an ending
But
where it sort of
the
slows
problem
down.
is, this is something that we do a lot on our show. We always say it kind of drops off at this point, as though it gets bad. It doesn't get bad.
It just
it's
gets
just
less
not
good.
as good.
It goes from like
I would rate none of these tracks less than a 6.
but
None
it's
of them
like
at all.
the points where we say it drop off, it goes from like 7, maybe an 8 on songs,
Yeah.
down to a 6. So it's
There
still
are
good.
some where I'm teetering on giving it a 9 on some songs. A lot of them are 8s. Some are 7s. But there are a few 6s in here which kind of, I'm looking for a bit more.
The album was actually very consistent in terms of the production was just like very, very consistent every time.
Yeah.
Especially like in the vocal process, right down to like the vocal processing, it was like the same on every one. And the songwriting, the skill of songwriting here was like really impressive, and the composition and how they must have worked all these instruments together. It must have
Absolutely.
taken a lot of work. It's a very impressive piece of work. And
And you
yeah.
get so many like crazy sounds in there as well, especially on. Oh, why do I do this to myself? That's close enough for now, I think.
Yep.
Track 12.
Yep. Beautiful acoustic guitar.
The guitar throughout the whole track. There's so many different things
Yeah.
that are going on with it.
Like I listened to that on my awesome speakers, and I was getting like a huge stereo width.
I did like that song. That was the one song in the end part that did stand out to me. As like, I think the way I thought of that is like, in a lot of albums when you get near the end, they have that one acoustic guitar song, and I almost always hate them.
And this wasn't one of
recently, and this was one where I was like, no, this is how you do an acoustic.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just, oh, we're going to put the acoustic song here, and it's just a
Yeah.
guitar,
Here's 4
and
chords
some
and
singing.
some
It was like actually interesting, and there was still lots going on for it, even though it focused on the guitar as the main. Sort
It
of
wasn't.
thing of the track.
It wasn't your copy and pasted Ed Sheeran number.
Yeah, and I was like,
Although
good.
there are some 4 chord songs which can be really good.
Yeah, it's true. Just takes
take some skill,
and personality.
Some swag.
personality, some swag,
Some pizzazz.
some real steez.
So
Some
let's
panache.
that's enough words.
Dinesh. That's a reference that only Kit will understand.
I don't even get it.
He's that character that we made up.
Oh shit! Yeah. Are we drunk or something?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite songs of
It's
the
the
album.
surname of one of my friends from high school.
Nice.
Favorite tracks on the album, please, Mr. Cameron.
Okay. The Noisy Days Are Over, track 1.
Yes.
Track 4, I'm Glad. Track 7, Trouble at the Lights. Track 8, They Want You to Remember.
They do.
They are my favourite tracks.
Sweet. Gareth Grigg.
But not for you. They want me to remember. The morning is waiting for you. That's close enough for now.
I feel like you tried to make a sentence out of all.
I
the-
liked it.
I liked it as well.
I was convinced.
I was a little. I mean, like, we really appreciate it. The audience hasn't got a fucking clue what's going on, but it's fun all round.
If you can make out what it is, there were 4 songs in there.
I hope there's at least one person out there still being like, who's this Dinesh character? You never know.
This album was beautiful from start to finish. For me, I'm going to have to give it a... I don't know, it's a strong 7, possibly an 8. But I haven't given you my favourite songs from the album yet.
Nice.
Um,
Transition.
Thank you. Trans.
Yeah.
Disappointed. But Not For You. And It's a Good Thing. Those are my favourite tracks on the album.
Would you give it out of 10?
I'm between a 7 and an 8 right now. I'm going to see what Gareth has to say about that, and I will get back to you on that.
I think that's about where this album belongs. Is either a strong 7 or a weak 8.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But unfortunately, that's not somewhere we can agree on because that's a limbo. We can't leave it in limbo like this, lads.
But I like Limbo. I like Limbo.
It's a fun game, but we need to find somewhere
I-
where they can be, right? And I think I'm gonna say a strong 7, but I think upon listening to this album more, I could see it becoming an 8.
I'm going to give this album simply because it didn't continue giving me 8s, which I wanted, and it slipped to 6s towards the end. I'm going to give it a very strong 7. But I really want to give it an 8. But
I'm going to give it an 8 because I'm going to come back to this and keep listening. I really like this.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going to keep coming back to this.
You're going to give it an 8
one.
because swag.
Swag. Well, what did you think of this album?
I'm going to give it an 8. I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh, yeah. Ha!
I'm not fucking bowing down. Fuck off.
Whose dick I got sucked to?
Anyway.
Can't just do the first album.
Yeah.
It's not
How does
funny.
it make sense without it?
You can find out more on our Twitter page.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah. That stuff. Bye. With a revolving cast of band members, this is their 6th studio album. They are an indie rock, kind of post-punk, kind of art rock band. That's the genre right there for you. And it's kind of geeky, quite elegant. The songwriting is sophisticated. Would you agree with that statement, Gareth?
I feel like the production.
New album, Sunderland Band. Fucking field music. Commontime is the new album. We listened to it. It was 54 minutes long. Not a criticism, just a fact.
57.
57, thank you very much. The band's called our brothers, David and Peter Bruce. Wrote this with my hands on a keyboard and printed out. These words came from my mind.
I liked the sound of this album.
Thank you. That's a shit critic. I like the sound of this album. The most basic criticism ever.
You see, I felt that at times it was a bit endearing.
No, that's me again. Like, what's going on here?
It's from an older generation.
Oh, you're straight up reading from my notes, you prank.
I feel as though I could definitely get some kind of Talking Heads vibe
Oh, I hate you guys so much.
from the album.
They totally read my fucking notes, guys. I'm so
This
mad.
might be a weird criticism.
No! It's just word for word now. It's unfair. It's unfair. I put work into this.
Hi, and welcome to the Sonic Squeeze. I'm Isaac Page, and today we're going to be looking at Field Music's new album, Commontime. Help.
No.
I don't know if I'm strangling you or hugging you.
Just a